I'm going to be going over two different mask effects from Protect's Keisha music video, and this was a video suggestion from someone in my Discord, so if you guys have any video suggestions or questions in general, make sure to check that out. With all that being said, let's get right into the video. Alright, so for this first effect, we're going to be going over that mask grid effect. I thought it was a really unique effect, and I really like the way that looks. The first thing you want to do is change the colors of your layers, just so that once we get more into the effect, you guys don't get confused with the different layers. So we're going to be focusing on this first layer. I'm going to go forward one frame and duplicate that layer. Make sure to cut the layer so that it's only 2 frames long because we want this to be really fast. We're going to grab the rectangle tool and mask out a part of this video layer. Turn on the proportional grid. So this is actually perfect. I'm going to mask out this part right here. 2 squares of this proportional grid. I'm actually going to have the anchor point for this one right at the center. So in order to do that, just make sure to click the layer, hold the control button on your keyboard, and double click this anchor point tool right here. Then I'm going to open up the scale and increase that. So I'll just increase that to 125%. And then we're going to add an adjustment layer on top of this in order to add the grid effect. So click Control Alt Y, make sure to cut it to the same length as this layer, which is 2 frames. We're going to be adding an effect called grid. So once you add that effect, we have this grid on our composition. And the first thing we're going to do is change the corner, change the X value of the corner. I want this to be a lot wider, similar to how they did it in the music video. And then for the border, let's make that a little smaller, decrease that to 2. And we also want this to be on our video layer. So you want to change the blending mode to screen. And just like that, we have that grid effect for this part of the layer. And I'm actually going to change the mask for this layer because I kind of want to bring the right side of this mask more towards the left. So I'm just going to grab these 2 points right here and then just drag it a little more towards the left. I think that looks better. Then we're going to go forward 1 frame from this layer right here. Let's duplicate the video layer and bring that above the other layer. Cut this one so that's only 2 frames as well. For this one, I'm going to be masking out the middle part of this layer. I'm going to mask out this part right here. And I'm going to make 2 masks, so one on the left side and then one on the right side. Have another one right here, center the anchor point again, and then increase the scale so that it's a little bigger. Increase this one to 125%. And then let's also add the grid effect for this one as well. So click Control D on the other adjustment layer with the grid effect. I'm actually going to bring this one down right here. Grab these 2 layers and then pre-compose them. I'll just rename that to mid. So just like that, we only have the middle part of this mask layer with the grid effect. Then we're going to go forward another frame from this layer, duplicate this video layer. For this one, we're going to make it 3 frames long. So it's going to be the final 3 frames of this first clip. And then grab the rectangle tool and I'm going to mask out the face of our subject. So I'm going to mask it out like that and then center the anchor point. Let's also increase the scale for this one. I'm going to increase that to 130%. I'm going to make the mask a little smaller. Grab these points right here and then move it more towards the right. Then grab this one right here, move this a little more towards the left. That looks good. So this is what we have for the effects so far. Now let's move on to the second and the third clip. For this clip right here, we're also going to be duplicating it and then masking a part of this layer. So go forward 1 frame and then make this one 2 frames. Grab the rectangle tool and I'm going to mask out this part of the subject right here. Then of course, center the anchor point and then increase the scale just so that's a little bigger. I'll just increase this to 120%. And I'm also going to rotate this slightly towards the left. Increase that to like -15. Also change the mask for this as well. Bring the left points a little more towards the right. That should be good. And then bring the bottom points up and I'll just keep it like that. Then we're going to be adding a color balance HLS, similar to how they did in the music video, just so that it creates sort of a different look. And I'll be changing the hue in order to find a color that looks good with this video. 339 degrees looks good. Go forward and let's duplicate the original video layer. Bring that above the other mask layer. Cut this layer so that's only 2 frames. And for this one, I'm going to mask out a small part of the face. Right there should be good. And then you want to increase the scale. I'll just increase this to 120% as well. Copy and paste the color balance effect from the other layer. Click Control C, click that layer, click Control V. Then we're going to bring this layer right here, which is the third clip. And I'm going to overlap it with this mask layer. Go forward 1 frame. Click Control Shift D in order to cut that layer. And for this one, we're going to be decreasing the opacity. Decrease that so that we can see the layer underneath. I'll decrease that to 40%. And then we're going to add an exposure because we want this layer to be a lot brighter. So let's increase the exposure, increase that to 3. For this next part, we're going to be duplicating this layer and then bring it forward 1 frame, cut this layer forward 1 frame. And for this one, let's just increase the opacity back to 100%. And then we're going to duplicate it 1 more time, bring it forward 1 frame, and then make it 2 frames long. Then we're going to go to this video layer and then click Ctrl+Shift+D in order to cut that layer. For this top layer, I'll decrease the opacity to 40%. So when I play this from the start, this is what we have. I think that looks really fire. Shout out to the VFX editor. It's a really creative way of creating these mask effects. Moving on to the second effect, we're going to be creating that rotoscope no signal effect. And in order to create this effect, you are going to need a TV overlay, which is completely free. I found it on YouTube, so I have that linked down in the description. Once you download that, make sure to import it into After Effects and then just drag it into your composition. I'm going to actually turn this layer off for now. And for the actual video layer, we're only going to make it 3 frames long because we're going to be creating a stutter effect. And we're only going to rotoscope the face of our subject. Before I do that, I'm going to actually add a curves effect so that I can make the video clip a lot brighter. We're eventually going to delete this effect. It just makes it easier to rotoscope. So grab your rotobrush tool, only rotoscope the face of your subject. After rotoscoping only the face, I'm going to change the settings for the rotobrush effect, increase the feather to 20, decrease the shift edge to -20, delete the curves effect. Then we're going to duplicate this layer. For the bottom layer, delete the rotobrush effect. Then we're going to be adding this TV effect only to the face of our subject. So let's find a good spot of this video, drag this towards left, and then open up the toggle switches and modes, drag the track mat to only the rotoscope face. So once you do that, it's gonna like look weird. So just change the position as well as the scale. I'm gonna bring this up, make sure it covers the face, and then also just increase the scale by a little. It's really important to have a good rotoscope of your face or else the effect just isn't gonna look good. And then cut this layer. Then I'm gonna duplicate the layers, bring all that to the top, and then bring that forward, cut this part of the TV layer as well. Then we're going to duplicate all of these layers, bring that to the top, bring it forward, only duplicate the bottom layer because that one is going to be the one where it's just playing like a normal clip. So this is what we have for the effect. Both effects are super fire, but that is all I have for this video. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.